Evaluating information is part of daily life. You may come across information through a variety of sources, such as Google, social media, YouTube, websites, or even a friend. How can you determine if these sources are credible? You can understand a lot about a source by examining it carefully without having to do extensive research. For example, what does it say, or what is the main point? Where was it published or posted? When was it published or posted? Who is the author or creator? Why does it exist? How does it incorporate evidence? There are additional questions you should consider to get the full picture. This will require you to do some more research and go beyond the source. These questions include: when was it changed? Where did you access it? What other information can you find about this topic? Who's missing from the conversation? Why do you need this information? How did the information find you? How did you react? You can search online to find information about authors, organizations, and websites. Some of these questions require you to reflect on your personal biases and reactions to the content. Let's look at an example together. An essay about the environmental impact of poorly made consumer goods. It was published in November 2023. It was published in the New York Times, which might suggest that it is a reported news article. However, if we look more closely, we'll see that it is in the opinion section, a perspective piece submitted to the newspaper by a guest author. The author's byline and a short bio appear at the top of the article. To what extent is the author's point of view reflected in this essay? It's important to recognize the different kinds of evidence authors use to support their claims. In this article, you'll notice links pointing to other publications. The majority go to news sources like the BBC and Bloomberg News. A peer-reviewed article published in the journal Nature is the source of an eye-catching statistic. Less obvious than the links, the author uses another type of evidence common in this genre of writing: anecdotes drawn from personal experience. The essay opens with one of these anecdotes, which is complemented later on with examples and recollections from the author's career. To answer the question, why does this piece exist, consider who is the likely audience. Is it written to persuade, educate, or entertain? By answering these questions, we've learned a lot that can help us to evaluate this article. However, our process is incomplete if we don't also consider the broader context. As you can see from this chart, there are many other questions we can ask. What other materials can we find on this topic? Do they come to the same or similar conclusions? Who might be missing from this conversation? For example, would having the perspective of consumers, regulators, or even the workers who manufacture these products help us better understand this issue? What do we need this article for? This might be a great source to inform our perspective, generate ideas, or even share with a family member interested in these issues. However, if we need it for an assignment that requires scholarly sources, it does not meet that criteria. What do you think? Would you consider this a credible source? There is not a single checklist that will help you to determine which sources are trustworthy. The most important thing is to ask critical questions about information and to learn how to find additional sources on a topic and determine how these sources are in conversation with each other. You can practice this skill in your academic writing and in your everyday life as a consumer and a creator of information. And remember, if you have questions about a source, you can always ask a librarian.